Hi, fourth grade. This is Miss Vess. Today we're going to be reviewing the reading strategy, Add Up Facts to determine the main idea. We worked on this strategy a little earlier in the year where we drew an outline of our handprint and we used our handprint to find our main idea in details. So what we're going to do in our handprint is at the end of each passage or section, we want to think about what is the one big thing that this passage or section teaches us. And we also want to think about how do the details connect to this. So on our handprint, we're going to write the important details on the fingers and the main idea on the palm of the hand. So that big idea is going to go in the palm, and then each detail that connects to the main idea will go on the fingers. Let's look at a passage together about penguins. All right, this passage is Penguins in Motion. Let's read it together. Penguins live only in the southern hemisphere, in places like Antarctica and the Galapagos Islands. They are birds, but they cannot fly. That doesn't mean they don't get around. Waddling on land. To walk, penguins waddle across the ice, bobbing left and right, inching their way forward. Their webbed feet loop out to the side with each step. They use the little flaps on their sides to help steady themselves. They can go a little faster if they flop down on their bellies and slide along the ice and snow. Zipping through the water. Penguins look clumsy on land, but it's a different story when they are in the water. When swimming, they have more amazing moves than an Olympic gymnast. Put a penguin in the water and let the action begin. They zip around the icy Antarctic waters like torpedoes with tuxedos on. The little wing flaps and the webbing between their toes help move them through the water at high speeds. Penguins have been clocked as fast as 27 miles per hour. Birds that can't fly. Penguins are birds, but they look very different from the birds in your backyard. And we know they can't fly like the birds that come to your bird feeder. But why are they still called birds? Like all birds, penguins have light, air-filled bones and a beak with no teeth. Penguins have feathers and must comb them with their beaks. And they lay eggs like all birds do. Maybe penguins can't fly through the air like a robin or an eagle, but they sure can fly when they are underwater. All right, let's go to our board. All right, when we add up our facts to determine the main idea, when I think about this passage, what is the main thing that the author is wanting to teach us here? Well, the title is Penguins in Motion, and throughout the whole passage, what he's telling us about is different ways that penguins move. So I feel like the big idea that he's trying to teach us is that even though penguins can't fly, they can move in many ways. So I'm going to put that here on my palm as my big thing or my main idea. Even though they can't fly, penguins move in many ways. That's my main idea. All right, now I want to think about the details that would support that statement. At the very beginning of the passage, it says that penguins live in Antarctica and the Galapagos Islands. Well, that's kind of cool. Antarctica is way down at the bottom of the globe. It's very cold. The Galapagos Islands, that's just a fun word. So would that be a detail I could use? Well, if my main idea is about how penguins move, does that detail connect to that main idea? It doesn't. That tells me about where they live, not how they move. So even though it's a kind of cool fact or a cool word, I would not want to use that as a detail for how they move because it doesn't connect. I want to think about the details that the author has given me here that connect to the main idea that there are many ways that they can move. The first thing that I think it's important to note is that birds can't fly. So that's going to be a way that they cannot move. And the reason they have to move in other ways because they can't fly. So when we go back to my handprint here, I'm going to put that as my first detail. Penguins cannot fly. All right, in the first section, it talked about how penguins waddle on the ice. That's what I love about penguins. They're so cute when they go waddling across the ice. So I'm going to add that to my second finger. It also says in the second paragraph that they slide on the ice on their belly. Brr. I'm going to put that as my third finger. In the next section, it talks about how they're very good swimmers. So that's an important way that they move. And it also talks about the webs between their toes that help them to swim fast. So that goes with that idea that they're good swimmers. So the 5 details that I'm going to use about how penguins move are that penguins cannot fly, they waddle on the ice, they slide on the ice on their belly, penguins are very good swimmers, and the webs between their toes help them swim fast. All 5 of those details connect with the main idea that even though they can't fly, penguins move in many ways. So they all are connected there. So I don't have any details that are kind of sticking out that don't make sense with my main idea. All right, today I'm going to have you guys practice this skill. So what I want you to do is on paper in a few minutes, I want you to trace your handprint, and you're going to do the same thing with a passage I'm going to let you read. You're going to write your main idea or your big thing on the palm, and then you're going to choose 5 details from the passage that connect or support that main idea. If you need to watch the video again and refer back to the one that Miss Bess did, you can do that. The passage I'm going to give you guys to read is shark. So I'm going to zoom in nice and close on this passage and so that you guys can read this passage. And this is going to be when you're going to pause your screen so you'll be able to read your passage. After you read the passage, you're going to go to your notebook or to your paper, trace that handprint, and then you're going to put your details and your main idea. So I'm going to show you this, and then I'll go back to the board and where you can pause on that as well. If you need to go back and watch the video, please do so. This is where you can pause now to read the passage, shark. And then here is your adding up facts to determine the main idea, where you're going to trace your handprint. Goodbye, 4th grade.